Hey everybody, welcome to the Drama Recap channel. Today I'll show you the recap of the 2018 American movie titled Black Panther. As always, spoiler alert, watch out and take care. The movie begins with a king telling the story of their people to his son. A long time ago, a meteor crashed on Earth somewhere in Africa. It contained vibranium, a very rare and useful material that is highly sought after. The 5 tribes occupying the area where the meteor landed started to fight over the ownership of the vibranium. One day, a shaman was visited by the panther god called Bast before he consumes a herb that gives him superpowers, making him the first ever Black Panther. He managed to unite the warring tribes to become a nation called Wakanda, with the Black Panther as their king. However, one of the tribes, called the Jabari, didn't want to join the Wakanda nation, choosing to move to the mountains away from the other tribes. Eventually, the people of Wakanda used vibranium for all sorts of advanced technology. To protect themselves, the Wakandans decide to isolate themselves by producing a force field that prevents non-Wakandans to enter or even see the nation from the outside. Fast forward to 1992 in Oakland, California. 2 men named Jobu and James are talking about their plans to move weapons across the city. Someone knocks on the door. It's 2 Wakandan females called the Duri Milaje. Jobu reveals himself to be Wakandan and behind the warriors in the Wakanda king T'Chaka, who is N'Jabu's brother. It turns out that N'Jabu was sent to California to spy on a man named Ulysses Klaue. T'Chaka orders his brother to come home and reveals that James is actually another Wakandan spy named Zuri. They found out that N'Jabu has stolen some vibranium for himself, so they will put him on trial back in Wakanda. In the present day, T'Chaka has died during the events of Avengers Civil War. Now his son, T'Challa, is set to become the next king. He is on a mission with a Dore Milaje general named Okoye to extract a Wakandan spy named Nakia, who is following a group of mercenaries in Nigeria. T'Challa suits up to be the Black Panther, then jumps out of the plane before disabling the mercenaries' vans using Wakandan technology. He manages to fight off all of the mercenaries before he finds Nakia, who is also his ex-girlfriend. The 2 and Okoye finish their mission and return home to Wakanda. Back in the Wakandan palace, the 3 meet with T'Challa's mother, Ramonda, and his younger sister, Shuri. T'Challa must prepare for his coronation ceremony. All of the tribes gather by the waterfall to bear witness. Zuri gives a drink to remove T'Challa's powers and asks if anyone from the tribe would challenge T'Challa for the position of the king. Nobody comes forward until the Jabari tribe arrives. Their leader, M'Baku, challenges T'Challa, and so the 2 get into a fight. Initially, it seems like M'Baku is going to win, but T'Challa regains the upper hand and manages to make M'Baku surrender. T'Challa has officially become the new king of Wakanda. Before he can sit on the throne, T'Challa must go through one last ritual. His Black Panther powers are returned to him with another drink. Then he is buried under some sand that would take him to an ancestral plane. There, he meets with T'Chaka and the 2 have an emotional embrace. T'Challa asks for advice on how to best protect Wakanda as its king, and his father suggests that he should surround himself with people that he trusts. Then T'Challa returns to the real world. Meanwhile, in London, a man named Eric Stevens is admiring some artifacts in the African culture section of a museum. He corrects the guide about a hammer-like weapon, saying that it's actually of Wakandan origin and it's made of vibranium. Suddenly, the guide passes out due to a drug that Eric slipped into her drink, causing a panic which makes the guards call the paramedics. It turns out that the paramedics are actually Ulysses and his men, who kill the guards while Eric steals the vibranium weapon. Back in Wakanda, T'Challa visits his best friend from another tribe called Wakabi. They are chatting before they are being called by Okoye to the palace. The Wakandans have received intel about Ulysses, who is planning to sell the stolen vibranium hammer in South Korea that night. T'Challa is set to go to Wakabi and wants to come with him as Ulysses has murdered his parents. However, T'Challa asks him to stay in Wakanda and keep things secure. Before he goes on his mission, T'Challa comes to Shuri's lab. Shuri is a brilliant inventor and she hands his brother some new gadgets that she has developed. One of them is an improvement to the Black Panther suit. She has managed to contain the suit with a necklace and made it able to absorb every hit that it takes, turning it into kinetic energy projectiles. Once the preparations are done, T'Challa, Okoye, and Nakia fly to South Korea. They enter a casino, which is where the transaction is supposed to happen. There, T'Challa runs into the CIA agent named Everett Ross, who is also looking for Ulysses. Eventually, Ulysses and his crew enter the casino, but he realizes that he is entering into a trap and escapes with his men. Nakia and Okoye pursue him, followed by T'Challa, who has changed into his Black Panther suit. Shuri also helps out from Wakanda by remotely controlling a car that is ridden by T'Challa. He eventually catches up with Ulysses' car and makes it crash in the middle of the city. When T'Challa is about to kill Ulysses, Nakia reminds him that there are a lot of people watching, which can cause a bad reputation for Black Panther and Wakanda. So he lets Everett take him into custody instead. When Everett is interrogating Ulysses, outside the room, T'Challa and Okoye are listening in. Meanwhile, Eric and Ulysses' men are preparing to break him out by exploding the walls of his cell. Nakia sees them through the security footage and tries to warn everyone about the explosion. But it's too late as the walls have already blasted open. Chaos ensues as the criminals start shooting at Nakia, who is saved by Everett. When Eric manages to rescue Ulysses, T'Challa sees a ring that he uses as a necklace, which looks very similar to the ring that T'Challa's grandfather owned. After the commotion dies down, the Wakandans use their technology to stabilize Everett's injury until they return home. When they're back in Wakanda, W'Kabi is disappointed that T'Challa failed to bring Ulysses back. While Everett's injury is being treated by Shuri using vibranium technology, T'Challa comes to Zuri to ask him about the ring that he saw around Eric's neck. Zuri eventually tells him about what happened in Oakland back in 1992. N'Jabu had planned to give away vibranium weapons to the black community so that they can fight back against their oppressors. T'Chaka was forced to kill his brother, and they left N'Jabu's body there to be found by his son, who turns out to be Eric. Eric eventually entered the US Army and became a Black Ops soldier, earning the nickname Killmonger for his many kills. Meanwhile, Eric and Ulysses are heading towards Wakanda on a plane, where Ulysses reveals that he is planning to blackmail Eric by taking his girlfriend hostage. However, Eric kills her himself before also shooting Ulysses dead. Then he enters Wakanda carrying Ulysses' body and gives it to W'Kabi, who appreciates the gesture as he wants Ulysses dead. He then takes Eric to the palace where he reveals that his true name is N'Jaka, N'Jabu's son. He then challenges T'Challa for the right to the throne. The tribes of Wakanda once again gather around the waterfall to witness the fight. It goes horribly for T'Challa as he is overwhelmed by Eric, who is fighting him relentlessly. Seeing that T'Challa is about to be beaten to death, Zuri tries to stop Eric and is stabbed to death by Eric. Eric still beats T'Challa before throwing him over the waterfall cliff. Nakia, Ramonda and Shuri are devastated as they think T'Challa is dead, and now Eric is going to be the new king of Wakanda. In the following ritual, Eric is given a special drink made from vibranium-infused flowers and is taken to the ancestral plane. There, he also meets his father just like T'Challa did. And when he wakes up, he orders everyone to burn all of the vibranium-infused flowers so that nobody else can gain the power of the Black Panther after him. Thankfully, Nakia manages to sneak away a single flower with her. She then goes to the mountains along with Ramonda, Shuri, and even Everett to ask for the Jabari tribe's help. M'Baku reveals that they had saved T'Challa, who fell into the river, but he is still in a comatose condition. To heal him, Ramonda grants the remaining flower and turns it into a special drink that she gives to T'Challa. They bury him under some snow to take him back to the ancestral plane. There, T'Challa sees his father once again and criticizes his decision to leave little Eric behind. T'Chaka expresses his regret for the past decision and how he hid it from T'Challa all these years. And then T'Challa wakes up. When he asks for the Jabari's help to fight Eric, M'Baku refuses. Back in the Wakandan palace, W'Kabi is now on Eric's side and is helping his plan to send their advanced weapons all over the world for African-led mercenary groups. When one of the flights carrying weapons are flying away, it is shot down by T'Challa, who makes his comeback as the Black Panther. He fights with his former friend along with his men, but thankfully T'Challa manages to fight them off using his suit's kinetic blast. Okoye helps out T'Challa by leading the Dora Milaje warriors against her lover's army, while Shuri grants access to Everett to fly one of their jets to shoot down the other jets carrying away the Wakanda weaponry. Meanwhile, the women join forces to fight against the suited up Eric, while W'Kabi's tribe unleashes their armored rhinos to battle against the Dora Milaje. Suddenly, M'Baku and the Jabari tribe comes to help the Dora Milaje, until they gain the upper hand and Okoye forces W'Kabi to surrender. Back to Eric, T'Challa manages to take him down right before he wanted to hurt Shuri. They both fall down into the vibranium mines and continue their fight there. The fight is intense between the two superpowered men, but eventually, T'Challa uses a device made by Shuri to disable Eric's suit, allowing T'Challa to stab him with his short spear. While Eric is now dying, he sees the view of the beautiful Wakandan sunset and says that he regrets not seeing the nation's beauty until this moment. Feeling pity, T'Challa carries Eric out of the caves to properly enjoy the sunset that Eric's father had said he enjoys. In his final moment, Eric is offered a chance to be healed by T'Challa, but he refuses. preferring death over imprisonment. He asked T'Challa to bury his body at sea with his ancestors, before taking out the dagger from his chest and dying. Peace returns to Wakanda as T'Challa reclaims his throne and gets back together with Nakia. He also honors his uncle and cousin by creating a Wakandan outreach program for the people of African descent in need of support, including the neighborhood which Eric used to grow up in. Thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for even more content like this. If you have a movie you'd like us to recap, let us know in the comment section below. Once again guys, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.